Hello, hello, hello. I am brining a turkey today. So, as my husband and my brother watch, I want to say Inspector Gadget. Um, it's not Casino Royale, but it's one of the James Bond movies. I want to show you my turkey. So, I went to Walmart and got me a cooler. And I don't know why I thought it was gonna be $50, but it's only $17. That was great. I I got my sponge, put some soap on it, bleach on it, and washed it down, rinsed it out, and then washed two big pots. And the reason why I'm using bleach is because I really want to sanitize my look up. Sanitize my sponge and sanitize everything that I'm using, because I will be giving this turkey to the PTA for the Teachers Appreciation Day coming on Tuesday. So today is Sunday, and it is important that you start your brine. Whenever you want to start your cooking, you need to do the brine at least 3 days before. But I have a really large size turkey, and as a matter of fact, it is 23 pounds. So, that's not too large, because they could be like 27, 30. I haven't seen a 30-pound turkey. So anyway, this is 23 pounds, and I'm going to brine it for at least a day and a half. And so the brine should be prepared the day before that. And so today's Sunday. I think the brine should be prepared yesterday on Saturday, but I didn't do that. And the reason is because I got a big pot here, and I began my, I use this pot. Can you see the pot that I'm using here? Yeah, this size pot. And this pot actually says that 18 quarts. Quarts. Okay, good. So I filled it up with water, and I filled it up to about an inch. As you can see here, that's the residue of all the ingredients I used. And I'm sorry, did I wing it? Yes. I just put I actually used this size, and this is not a tablespoon. This is, let's compare it. Don't have one. Only have teaspoons in it. So here is a tablespoon, and here is the spoon that I used. So I used the spoon here on the right, and I poured. Here goes the list. I put 1 scoop of sage. I used used 2 pots. So I'm telling you how much I put in both pots. Here also is the second pot. You can see the residue of all the ingredients I put. Although this was filled with water, I filled this spoon up with, here we go, sage, garlic powder, rosemary. I can read backwards. And then remember, I filled up this spoon, and I poured 1 scoop of all of these ingredients into each pot. Let's continue. Thyme leaves, ground allspice, brown sugar. I have 2 family members that have diabetes, so putting too much in there always bothers me, because I then have to let them know, what is on my neck that's white that won't come off? Oh, okay. Unless I scratch myself. But because I'm putting it in my brine, I'm not too bothered by them taking the meat and eating it, and then having to give them, like, having problems like an insulin with their insulin by eating this turkey. So I also use Peppercorn Medley. And I think this is also, I don't want to give you false information, but I think this is called peppercorn, tricolor peppercorn as well. Also use a scoop of that. And then I use, now I do have sea salt, but you can use kosher salt. I used sea salt. And I think that was it. Yes. So I filled this up with all of these ingredients, and I poured it into each pot. I used 2 pots. And that was 18 quarts of water. This um, IGLOO holds 48 quarts. Now, once I poured, excuse me, I cooked the brine. And by cooked it, I just put it on high, and then I didn't stir it until afterwards. So I poured all these ingredients in there, let it boil, and I let it boil for 15 minutes. And then I turned off the stove and I let it sit there. It needs to cool down. And this is why it takes all day. It's so much water, and it being together, it's not going to cool down very fast. So I should have did it yesterday, so I could just leave it. Not so much on the stove so I can block people from cooking, but maybe off to the side. But it was important that I keep it covered because I do not want anything going inside of my brine. So after I let it boil for about 15 minutes, then I stirred it, and then I left it unopened for maybe about an hour. And then I just needed to close it because there was just too much activity over here. So I don't know what people are doing. And yes, I literally think that people are going to talk over my brine or wash their hands in my brine. I don't know what my kids are doing. They're super inquisitive. So I covered it up. Now, if you're going to cover it up, it's going to delay the amount of time that it's going to get cool. It's going to delay the whole cooling down process. So you literally can't put it in your fridge. I've put it in my freezer one Thanksgiving. So you might want to think that you can just put your brine into this cooler here and pour the ice in. That brine will begin to cook your turkey and it will melt your ice. Don't do it. Follow these steps. It's imperative. So it needs to be all the way cool to where if you were to touch the brine, or just scoop some out preferably, and then to touch the liquid that is in your scoop and see that there is no heat, no temperature, then it's ready. You pour it in your completely washed cooler. Now, didn't tell you this step. Now, even though I washed it with soap and water, I did pour bleach upon my sponge and then wash my IGLOO. Now, I have to leave that IGLOO open to air out. And it needs to air out, dry up, and the bleach in it needs to be open and accessible to. The IGLOO needs to stay open. The what is this called? Cooler. It needs to stay open so that the everything evaporates. If you're going to clean it with bleach, you don't want the bleach residue staying in there. Ain't nobody trying to cook something so that all these teachers can pass out or just get, sick. I don't know what happens. So I want to keep that open. And I kept that open for about 4 or 5 hours. But that's only because the brine was getting ready. But normally that needs to be done first. You need to cook it and clean it. And I know to air it out because I'm always going to clean it with bleach just because I'm always serving it and I just don't want no problems. And so when you I keep saying bleach, but literally sanitizer that restaurants use when they dip all their pots, pans, dishes, and utensils into a sanitizer after they wash it with soap, it is parts bleach. That's what sanitizer is. And so that's what I'm using here. So yes, I put soap and water on my sponge, but I also pour some bleach. So anyway, so that needs to air out so that when you pour the brine in there, you ain't mixing it. So anyway, after the brine cools down all the way, and by cooling it down, you can literally let it set out for the rest of the night, or put it in your fridge to quicken the process of it cooling down, or put it in your freezer. But I haven't seen the bottom of my freezer in years since I bought it. Since I bought that deep freezer. And by freezer, I don't mean the one at the top connected to my fridge. I mean a deep freezer. I do have a deep freezer, and that's just a really large freezer. So anyway, I poured my brine in here, And then I took a whole onion and chopped it in 4, as you can see here. I want to do more because to me, you can't have enough onion. And then I poured some apple cider vinegar. Why would I pour apple cider vinegar inside of here? There does need some acidity, and then I poured some more salt. How much salt did I pour? A scoop of this. I don't know how much. Does it say on here? What does that say? Juanita. I do not know how much this is. Oh, but I can find out. I think this is 2 tablespoons. Yeah, I think this is 2 tablespoons. And I can do that right now. So after I pour the brine, sorry, you got to get your turkey out. Oh, before you start anything, it's important that you get your turkey out at the top of the morning. Why? Because you want your turkey to get to start to thaw out. Why? Because you need to rinse it off, and you need to get the hook. So sometimes there's a wire, sometimes there is a plastic hook on your turkey, and it's gathering the legs. If the legs are gathered, then you need to it needs to defrost in order for you to remove that plastic from it, so that the hooks, these can be released. And what's also gathered in the collection of those 2 turkey legs is what is that called? Liver, the gizzard, or the goblets, or something like that. So there's something in there that you need to pull that out. And if it's encased in a paper, it's never a foil. Sometimes it's plastic. If it's plastic, that's the best. But if it's in a paper, like this particular turkey is, then that's going to dissolve within your brine. So now you can't just let it sit and then not pay attention to it. Now, because that gizzard is in that turkey, and it's encased in a paper, just a paper casing that's collecting it and tied between the 2 legs of the turkey, you're going to have to come back here, and as soon as that is let go or whichever, then you need to pull it out, because that paper is going to waste away in your brine. And that brine easily could be used to pour it over your turkey, but you don't want, when it's in the oven, but you don't want any pieces of paper that are shedding because of it wasted away inside of your cooler. So that is my situation right now. I didn't bring my turkey out enough, early enough to where it is thawed out enough right now to where that, I think it's gizzard is inside of this plastic casing, and I need to pull it out, but it's blocked. So it's blocked or stuck. I think that, yeah, it's stuck because it's blocked. So anyway, so now that I put, how much salt did I put? I put one. I'm not gonna lie to you, there ain't no tablespoon, nothing in here. Everything is this, and this looks like 2 tablespoons. So so basically I put 4 tablespoons of all these spices in here because of the size of my turkey. After I pour my brine, then I pour some apple cider vinegar, which is I poured about 3 of these. And then I poured 1 of this filled up with iodized salt, because I don't use iodized salt when the brine is cooking on the stove. My lipstick is so much, and it's a lip stain, so it's hard to even remove it, this particular one. Anyway, but I can put iodized salt now that it is sitting in the cooler. After the salt, then I poured my bags of ice. So I have 2 bags of ice here. My husband just got the second one. And now I'm going to pour it inside. Let's go, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Got me some bags of ice. Got me a bag of ice. Got me some bags of ice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, thanks, babe. Now, you don't want to wash your bag in your brine, so I had to do that carefully. And this is going to melt. Something wrong. I love chewing on ice. And I think that's a lack of iron. But anyway, this is 8 o'clock. It's 8:30. And I'm going to leave this in here until maybe, I'm thinking 5 o'clock on Tuesday morning. And so that'll be 24. That's great. It's great, 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 great. It's a turkey this big, 30 plus hours for their 30 plus hours of brining is really going to make the fall off the bone, very juicy kind of turkey. That's what I'm going for. Not everybody likes that, no problem. Not everybody needs that because they really rely on their gravy. I rely on being able to, I'm aspiring to have turkey that has no need for anything else. Just literally just be eating it by itself because it's so flavorful. That's what I like. So, oh, I forgot to tell you. I'm so sorry. I used 2 boxes of organic vegetable broth in the brine. So sorry. So other than that, didn't leave anything else out. Told you about the water, told you about the ingredients, told you about the onion, told you about the apple cider vinegar and the iodized salt. I use 2 different kinds of salt. What is the purpose of that? Because they get broken down. The kosher salt and the sea salt get broken down while they are cooking on the stove. And then when you pour it into the brine, when you pour it into the cooler, and then add the turkey, what you do is allow the broken down kosher or sea salt to be go inside of the turkey through the process of called osmosis. I'm so sorry, I forgot about the turkey. So once you bring the turkey out, you need to let it sit out because you need it to thaw. After it thaws, then you're able to remove either the wire or the plastic that keeps the 2 turkey legs together. Then after you're able to do that, you put it inside of, I literally just put it back inside of the pot that I used to brine. I would use this to put it in the oven, but I use this to cook my brine. I put my turkey in there and I put it underneath. I just washed my hands with soap and water, and yes, I put bleach in my soap. I put a little bit of bleach in my soap, but I also had to put some lotion here at the front because it can really strip your, of course it's bleach, it's going to strip your the moisture from your hands. So I washed my hands with soap and water and bleach, whatever, and then I began to wash the skin of my turkey. And after I do that, I top, bottom, front, back, whichever, all of it, and just give it a really good shower with water. Then I removed what I could, which is the gizzards, and then I dropped it inside of my cooler here, and that's what you see in there. I'm not going to move it around. I'm not going to talk over it. Don't nobody want no turkey brined in saliva. So this will be sitting here, and I hope to do a part 2 to this video, bring it out, and I don't know, I won't be able to, because when I bring it out and start cooking it, I'm going straight to my kids at school, present it to the teachers. Ooh, I'm good on even doing this for myself, but I will have to get me a taste test after this. I'm writing this all down. Hope this works for you. Happy Thanksgiving.